Thanks, Anna, for joining us. We're super excited to have you as the inaugural attendee of the first episode of Just Chattin. Just diving right into it, you're a veteran of crypto. Can you just give us a quick overview of who you are and how you ended up building in the Solana ecosystem?
So I first learned about Ethereum and Bitcoin in 2017, and I actually joined Consensus briefly in 2018 because I believed in using crypto or using blockchain as a way to coordinate a lot of different players. But back then, the EVM space, and there was really no DeFi, was too primitive for an average user. So I went and did other traditional operator things. In 2021, I heard about Solana and I saw that, okay, this thing seems promising. And at the time, I was at McKinsey working on a payments client. So when I saw what Solana could do and what the payment client was doing, there was a big contrast on what's possible and where the incumbent players were looking at. So jumped on the wagon of Solana, joined their originally payments team, and then joined and we did a org-wide restructure, move people to Foundation. So I moved to Foundation and made a role for myself in 2022. I said, like, hey guys, we should talk to stablecoin issuers. At that time, the rates just started to rise, and people didn't quite realize the magnitude of how much Tether and Circle were raking in. And how powerful they would become. So I worked on a couple different theses. Some were successful, some completely, in hindsight, wrong. One was I wanted to bring FX on chain. I thought, okay, we have dollars. There must be demand for non-dollars, right? I still think so, but that was not something that really worked when I was there. And then I worked on hooking up Solana stablecoins to exchanges, market makers, and really all the venues, because especially post FTX, we had like 1 week where all the exchanges basically called us and said, hey, we'll discontinue USDC and USDT on Solana, and that was terrible. So understanding the importance of liquidity and the impact of that for the ecosystem.
Yeah, so super helpful. Thanks for the context and background. Just on that note, you went from leading the stablecoin efforts at the foundation to now building Perenna. What ultimately made you decide to want to leave and start doing what you're doing?
In 2024, so after a couple years of working with various partners, I saw like a huge white space on Solana, really across all of blockchain, that there aren't that many stablecoin companies building outside of the payment and neobank space. So my first foray was, okay, let's try building something that unifies stablecoin liquidity, because I saw dozens and dozens of stablecoin issuers launching. So we did that. That was our first product. But all the while, I was trying to figure out how to keep dollars, how to keep money on chain, because a lot of the original stablecoin value prop was to make trading easier, so keep money on chain. That was like with BitMEX and how Tether got started. And then let's try to pay people because it's cheaper to pay with stablecoins. But then the people who receive stablecoins are always trying to convert back into fiat. So my question was, okay, if we want to grow the Solana economy, or my frame is, if we want to grow the Solana GDP and economy, what can we do to make people want to keep their money on chain? And that is, in my opinion, through asset management, because I think Solana has plenty of trading already, and we honestly don't need more. We could do less with speculation. So I wanted something that's safe, that people are willing to trust, people would trust in the long term. And for many of our users, they really don't have local alternatives on traditional rails. So stablecoin and Solana are kind of their best bet in tapping into the asset management or wealth management products that otherwise they would just have no access to.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and it's great to see Perena have come a long way. Double-digit yield, offering tens of millions of dollars in TVL. But maybe you could just explain, like I'm five, what exactly is Perena for someone who's never heard of it before?
Yeah, Perenna is a stablecoin native asset manager. built on institutional grade rails that provides anyone with internet access to risk adjusted returns. So that is a handful of words to somebody who doesn't know what that means at all. We give you a venue that can help manage your money via blockchain native products, blockchain technology that routes your capital to different venues, so it diversifies your risk. So basic portfolio management theory is you want to diversify. So we diversify that across Solana-based money markets, crypto-based outside of Solana trading venues, and then soon we already added Henri actually, so we also are tapped into the insurance market, and we'll be adding more so that everything is designed to generate consistent returns with minimal to no drawdown, meaning that your money should not dip in the negative and that you can just sit there and enjoy your earnings.
Great. You already kind of hit on it, but would love to hear, if there's any additional perspective or insights. There's a lot of different yield and stablecoin products out there. Curious, what makes Perenna fundamentally different from other yield product offerings?
Our benchmark is not just, so there are hundreds of yield startups in the DeFi space, in the crypto space. My benchmark is not how much better are we than the other DeFi yield product. My benchmark is how much more attractive can we be than your existing asset manager in finance. So our product selection has to be appealing to a sophisticated investor who has access to JP Morgan private wealth or to their SPV networks or investment groups. So that's where we stand on the supply side. My inspiration came from business school, studying funds of funds and CLO structures and those types of traditional finance structured products, which are very difficult for average investors to access. ETFs have done a great job at democratizing access to a lot of things, but there's still this underneath the iceberg. The fastest growing sector in investments is alternatives, and alternatives is a very broad term. Within that, some of the fastest growing asset classes are quant strategies. So that was 20 years ago, it didn't really exist. And we are indexed on that type of asset. While people can often access those strategies via Athena or on Solana, there's like Solomon Labs, Solstice. Most of them are single strategy by design. We are taking inspiration from the fund of funds approach, providing multiple strategies. Now, we're still we really only launched the new USD Star Q3 of last year, so it's a really young product. In 2026 and beyond, there's a lot more to build. There's risk tranching, which means separating risk, high risk, low risk for different investors. We have one vault. We're launching more vaults this month that have different risk profiles. So all of that boils down to risk and access. For the average depositor, if you are just like if you log into your Charles Schwab or Fidelity, you get hit with thousands and thousands of products, and you have to understand do I want high risk? Do I want low risk? Do I want equity? Do I want gold or something else? I hope that we can create this more opinionated, curated selection across the risk spectrum.
That's great. Yeah, it sounds like Perenna's working on having a little bit of something for everyone. And that was actually going to be one of my next questions. As it stands today, who is the ideal Perenna user? Maybe it's currently tailored towards a certain kind of user, but it also sounds like you guys are going to soon be able to offer something for everyone. But yeah, do you want to just elaborate on that a little?
So right now, our user base is 100% crypto native. Everyone needs to know how to use a wallet. Majority of our users are in what traditional finance would call mass affluent, and we have 20-ish% institutional capital, let's say. But that fluctuates because we don't really know who everyone is because we're a permissionless protocol. But majority of the users are global, know how to use DeFi, and they might not want to actively manage their strategy because as you and we've done looping, we've done managing positions. It's a lot of work and a lot of clicking. So that's one client segment. I hope by the end of this year, we can leverage existing Rails to build products that I can onboard my non-crypto friends to via fiat. For example, Robinhood Connect is a pretty sleek tool that not a lot of people know. You can one click from Robinhood go into Solana stablecoins and we can create a wallet for them. But then we have to build out gasless transactions and there's so on and so forth, lots of other things we need to build. That would be my goal, and we can slowly but surely onboard people who don't know how to use DeFi but they hold crypto on centralized exchanges or on some ETFs and convince them to move over. So my goal is, I fundamentally believe no matter where Bitcoin goes, even if Bitcoin goes to zero, I believe blockchain as a technology is superior to existing financial plumbing. And that stablecoins, regardless of Sol, BTC go to zero, will continue to exist, and that Perenna's business model can continue to exist on its own because there is real value to the stack. And
Great.
pray, like, knock on wood, Sol doesn't go to zero. But I think it's independent of where the crypto market is going.
That's great. I love the grand vision for Perenna and what's ahead. And I guess just on that note, can you give us an alpha leak? Is there anything we can look forward to in 2026 that you would like to share or can share rather?
Couple of things can share. Frankly, I want to have fun, and I'm a little bit bored by crypto right now. So we will be going for a pretty different incentive model and liquidity model. Look out for that. I will not share more now. We'll have new vaults of more asset base. So some users have mentioned they want specific stablecoins and specific risk profiles. We'll have insured USD star, higher risk, higher return asset products coming soon. We might be found outside of Solana soon. We will have program by invitation for our larger depositors coming out. A lot of things happening. And if you're a listener who has deposits in USD Star and you will be at Consensus in Hong Kong, please reach out to us as we might have an event there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anna, for coming by and just chatting with us. Loved learning a little bit more about you and what Perenna's up to. And it sounds like 2026 is going to be a great year for Perenna and the team. Where should people go who want to learn a little bit more about what you're up to?
Check out Perenna.org. We're on socials, so we are on X. We have Telegram, Discord, Reddit as well soon. If you have questions, feel free to drop us a note on our main site.
Awesome. Good deal. Thanks again, Anna. And thanks everyone for tuning in to Just Chatting. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Pete. And thank you to the DFDV team for your trust in Perenna.